G'day, I'm Clive and welcome. And here's Lucy.
Hello.
Back at the Armadale Reptile Centre. And who are we going to be looking at today?
So the main guy we're going to look at is Perry, our Perenti. So the Perenti is the largest monitor we have in Australia, and there's only a few in the world that surpass him as the biggest in the world. So naturally the biggest being the Komodo dragon.
Yep.
And then the other two that are bigger than him is the Asian water monitor and the crocodile monitor. But otherwise, he's one of the biggest we have in the world, and he is definitely the biggest we have in Australia.
So how long will he grow to? How tall, lengthways?
Lengthways, well, they can well and truly get over 2 meters, well and truly. So they're quite large, and they're quite strong, stocky looking animals as well. So they do. They have, naturally, you think of monitor, you think of their teeth and you think of their claws, which they have formidable teeth and formidable claws, but they also have very, very strong tails. So their tail is incredibly muscular, and in cases where they're threatened, they will use that tail to whip. So they can actually whip their tail around on something, and they are potentially strong enough to break a bone on a human body with the strength in their tails. So they are very strong. Very, very strong.
Bit scary.
They are also very shy.
Yeah.
Like most reptiles, they they typically flee rather than fight. So you'll find these guys, particularly around rocky areas, they do prefer rocky area sort of locations, and they seem to never be far away from a nice refuge, a nice hidey hole. So as long as they can get to those hidey holes, they'll always do that. They'll always flee rather than fight. But yes, I certainly wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of one that you've made very, very angry by chasing after or trying to grab or something like that. No. There is a debate at the moment about whether or not monitors should be, or specific monitors in general, should be considered as venomous, because of their, particularly because of their saliva in their mouth. When they bite, it can cause a lot of infection and issues and things like that. They do have a lot of bacteria in their mouth, and they also have very strong stomach acids. So there is a debate at the moment whether they should be, or specific species should be considered venomous as well.
The easiest thing to say at the moment is if you do get the off chance of being bitten by one,
yes,
there's a possibility you may get an infection.
There's a strong possibility you may get an infection
From the saliva,
Yep.
Not necessarily a venom, but
yeah, and this is why
saliva.
it's debated, because it's how would you describe venom in such, because venom is usually described as something that's injected into your body. A bite is still debated whether that's considered venomous or not. But at the end of the day, yes, a bite from them is significant compared to a bite from a skink or something like that. They, because they do eat a huge variety of foods, they are very much the guts of the world. They'll even eat carrion. So they do need to have strong stomach acids, strong saliva to break that down and to tolerate eating something like that. If us as a mammal were to eat a carrion, we'd get very, very sick.
so for people who don't know what a carrion is,
Oh, it's deceased animals, deceased matter sort of thing. It could be anything. It could be vertebrates, it could be reptiles, it could be birds.
could be humans.
It could be, I wouldn't put it past them. They do find whatever, and they are very, very opportunistic. So who knows? It could have happened. I don't think they'll pass it up if it's there.
No, not if they're hungry.
Yeah, exactly. They do tend to eat, most monitors, pretty much all monitors, they'll tend to eat their prey whole. So they'll take it in and they'll just kind of chuck it down their neck slowly. So you'll see them doing a lot of movements in their head and their neck as they try and force it down. But that's not to say if it's too big, they won't pull it apart if necessary. But from watching our monitors sometimes, they will persist Even if it's too big, they will persist to try and eat it. Even if it takes 10 minutes, they will continue trying to eat whatever it is.
Gutsy guys and girls.
Oh yes, their eyes are certainly bigger than their stomach sometimes. They will try.
So how long do they live?
So in the wild, they can, for an animal this size, they could get up to 40 years, but I would be highly doubtful many wild ones would get up to that age. Captivity, yeah, they potentially could. But in the wild, if they make it over 20, I think they're doing very well. Unfortunately, it's a lot harder out in the wild than it is in captivity when they've got, as you saw, food on tap.
Well, as I will see in a moment.
Yes,
Yeah.
they've got plenty of food on tap. In the wild, it's a lot harder. You got to chase it down.
In a moment, we're going to be feeding him. So if you're a little bit squeamish, at that point, look away. You've been warned.
Yes, he does prefer his rats. He does like to eat his full prey items, and today he's getting rats.
So how often would he eat? So in captivity?
In captivity, with the summer now upon us, where we'd probably offer him small amounts, maybe once a week. If we're going to offer him large amounts, we'd push that out to every 2 weeks probably. They tend to eat a lot in one go, and then they may not need to eat for an extended period of time.
So if they were in the wild, would they eat a lot more often?
They probably would try and eat a lot more often, yeah, because they would unlikely be able to find enough food in one day to be fully satisfied. So it's more likely they'd be hunting more often in the wild. Yes.
So basically
definitely.
continuous on the move if they find something else.
Yeah. For ours down here in Perth through the winter, they will stop eating. So we do stop feeding them through the winter periods and the cold periods. Where Perentis are naturally found up in the Pilbara, that coldness doesn't really set in winter quite so much. So they would likely continue to hunt and feed up there still. Maybe not to such a degree as the summer, because the summer still gets exceptionally warm in the Pilbara regions. Yeah. But yes, they will find anything that they can. It's hard to explain until you've seen them in the wild how opportunistic and good they are at finding food. Many people that have seen them in the wild too, any monitors really, will describe experiences where the animals fled and they climb a tree. So they'll climb up a side of the tree and they'll sit there. And if you approach them, they'll move their whole body around to the other side of the tree so that the tree is in between you and the animal. And if you try and chase him around the tree, he'll just keep running around the tree trying to get away from you. It's an interesting experience once you've seen it. That such a big, scary kind of looking animal, and he all he wants to do is hide from you. You're scarier to all these animals. We're scarier.
So the only time one of these would hurt you is if you basically trap them.
Yeah, if he was feeling cornered, then he'd defend himself. In captivity, the other concern or chance of getting hurt is during feeding time. They get very locked in when it's time to eat, and any slightly small movement, they lock in on it and they rush it, whether they know it's food or not. They'll rush at it. So we also have to be careful when we feed them that we make sure that all of our movements are very deliberate, and we're still when they're feeding if we're close by to them, or better yet, we feed them from the outside.
As of when feeding today, I was on the outside.
Yes. Yes, they're very one-track minded when it comes to food, and if it's not food, they'll still try and bite it and test it.
Yep.
It's their mouth is their hands basically. So yes.
Yeah, I personally think they're adorable looking.
I think so too.
It's got
They look very prehistoric.
Yeah, a bit more like a cartoon prehistoric with cuteness, I think.
Yes, well, I'm certain their ancestors would have been a lot bigger and a lot scarier looking. But no, I think they're quite adorable. They have funny little traits sometimes when you work with them every day. You see these cute little traits, especially when they clean their mouth after they eat. They'll wipe their mouth on the ground and they'll clean themselves up like good little gentlemen. They have some cute little behaviours.
Mannerisms.
Yeah. And you get past. I can understand for people it's hard to get past, how big they are and especially when they're running at you or running around. It's instinctually you're like, oh, and you want to run away. I understand that because it still happens to me if I'm feeding and suddenly one runs straight at me. It's hard to remember, hold your ground. You just want to run away.
It's a natural instinct, isn't it? Run!
Well, yes, when you see a big lizard running at you with, who has exceptionally large teeth and claws.
Big lizard, small dinosaur.
Yes. Yeah,
so they've got really large claws and nasty teeth and
yes,
a nice whipping tail.
Yes.
At the same time, they're cute.
Yes.
They are cute.
And they're very important to have around. Particularly the Perenti has been known to hunt feral foxes too, potentially. So they are very good at helping to maintain feral populations. Rabbits, they love rabbits as well. So they're good to have around because, well, we put these feral animals in their environment, so they're just taking advantage of it. And
you can understand it going into their backyard.
Yeah.
Same going in the ocean when people complain about the sharks.
Yeah.
That's where the sharks live. If you don't want to take the risk, don't go in the water.
Yeah, and unfortunately we're encroaching more and more into their environment.
Yes.
Altercations with them, interactions with them are going to become more frequent because they just simply don't have anywhere to go. And humans bring an easy food source, particularly with rubbish bins and things like that.
Yeah.
So it will become more and more of an issue coming into the future, that we'll have more and more altercations with wildlife across the entire world.
Oh, yes, yeah. When they mate, how long do they mate for? Are they stay together or...?
No, typically once they mate, they'll split. And there's no real loyalty to any one partner or the other.
It's opportunist.
It is. It's a good chance they may come across each other in future years, but there's no real drive or desire to come back to the same partner. And the female will lay her eggs. She'll protect the eggs in the nest. Sometimes she might just leave them to hatch on their own. They do like to lay them near and around termite mounds as well. But then once the babies are born, they're pretty much self-sufficient. They're just miniature adults.
Yeah.
And off they go.
So how big are they when they're born, these ones?
Honestly, I've never seen a baby Perenti. No. So I wouldn't actually know from personal experience how big they are.
Yeah, do some research and
yes.
leave me a comment down below and I'll let Lucy know.
I can't know everything, unfortunately. And I haven't seen everything. So no, I've never seen a baby Perenti. And it would be interesting to see one. But we've never had them here. Never bred them here.
How long have you been here?
I've been here now about 6 years.
6 years?
Yes. Yeah.
And how long have you been doing this sort of thing?
Probably about 8-9 years. Yeah.
So you're building up a good bit of knowledge.
Yes. But even after 30 years, you still can't see everything.
Oh, no.
So there's always going to be gaps in your knowledge. And I'd love to see one day. I'd love to see a baby Perenti. I've seen them adults in the wild plenty of times, but no babies.
No babies.
No babies.
Not yet.
No, not yet. I don't know how they'd go. They'd be pretty... I haven't raised any monitor babies, actually. I don't think I've done any monitor babies.
It'd be good if we didn't have to.
Well, that's true. That's very true. We get quite a number of the local monitors, but they're usually adults come through the door, and they're usually through motor vehicle accidents. Dogs, unfortunately, have become a real big one as well. So that it's usually just adults we see, and fingers crossed, release too at the end of the day.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Being able to put them back out in their habitat.
Yes. Yeah. If possible, we'll always try and release them. Unfortunately, there are some injuries that they just aren't going to recover from. Eyesight seems to be a common one that we end up retaining. Things that have monitors that have issues with their eyesights, whether that's through an injury or through age, that can also occur. So, a lot of our monitors unfortunately have some issues with their eyes, and that's why they've stayed with us.
Well, at least they got a home.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true.
I'd like to thank you again.
Oh, you're very welcome.
That's the biggest one I've seen, and it's just beautiful.
Yes.
It is. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And thanks for feeding him so we could see how
Yeah,
quick he
that's
can-
okay. I'm sure he enjoyed it.
Oh, the
I'm sure
speed.
he was more than happy.
Yeah, speedy. He went. Yep. That's
Yes.
mine.
he's a very relaxed, chilled boy. So you can go in there and you can move around the enclosure, clean, do these water, whatever. But when feeding time comes around, no.
Stay out.
That's best not to take that risk.
Wait until I got full tummy, then you can
Yes. And we still tend to do things in his enclosure, lots of cleaning and revamping in the winter
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah,
just
seriously.
in case.
Yeah. And again, thank you.
You're
Thank
very
you very
welcome. You're very welcome.
So if you've enjoyed this and want to see more of Lucy telling us all about the wildlife here in Australia, please go down below and click on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell next to it and select all so you'll be notified of all future videos. There you go. The kookaburras. And hit the like button, a thumbs up. And if you are already a subscriber, again, I thank you very much.